Hello, and welcome to Dice Friends. This is episode 1 of the two-part Winter Peasantries. I'm Dale Friesen. I'll be the game master tonight, and we are using the Fate system. We have 5 players, and they are going to do character introductions. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the setting first. This is a low fantasy setting. It's predominantly human in the area that you're in. You're in the town of Rasham. And the town of Rasham is where some heroes came from 100 years ago. They defeated the Dark Lord and his nightmare legions. It was a great time. Freedom came back to the planet. Magic kind of stopped working. Contact with the gods stopped working. But you were no longer dominated by the Dark Lord and his nightmare legions. At around 50 years ago, there were some problems off to the west of you, and you had to rebuild a wall. There was a wall there like 700 years ago that protected against the Igar infestations. It's called the Gar Wall. It was built with the help of the Darim, who are these underground people who are very good with stone and that sort of thing. And they, at that point, had an alliance with the kingdom. They no longer do. Now you're on bad terms with the Darim.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yes. So the Igar were defeated about 700 years ago, but about 50 years ago, the Tar folk started coming up over there. So you needed the walls repaired. You've been repairing them with clay bricks. It's sort of patchwork. It's manned by the army. Now, the army is mostly conscripts, and you might think, oh, I wonder if we're some of those conscripts, and no, you are not, because 100 years ago, when everybody still liked Rasham, your lord made a deal with the king that instead of the usual tradition of 2 years of service, you could just do 800 days of service over the first 10 years of your adulthood, and he would administer what those were, which is really great for the village because it means that not only are those 800 days happening in the village for the village, but all the young adults aren't being sent off halfway across the kingdom to work in the army, and only, some of them come back. So other villages might resent you for that, but there'll be just random periods for the first 10 years of your adulthood where you're like, okay, you're working for 2 days doing this thing you don't necessarily know how to do, but we get to call on you for service. And we'll be seeing some of that tonight.
Ooh.
So that is, in a nutshell, what you need to know about the town of Rasham. And now, none of these people have seen these characters before tonight, but I'm hoping they've at least read a little bit, because now they're going to tell you all about them. Let's start with Ben.
All right. Hi, I'm Ben, and I will be playing the character of Blaze Berwick. I'm a barkeep here in Rasham, working over at the Broken Door Tavern. I believe that the world just needs a little bit more positivity in it. I think that any of your problems can be solved if you just have the right mindset and the stick-to-it attitude. I'm here to listen to your problems and, provide a shoulder to cry on from time to time.
Yes. Hi, I'm Serge, and I'm going to be playing the character Shilgan Sandblad. Shilgan Sandblad. Shilgan came from a big family. Having 6 brothers and sisters is tough. It means that everybody's going to try and take your stuff, and Dad had 8 siblings, so there's people everywhere, and so to find some peace and quiet, I have gone the humble path of the shepherd. The sheep, they get me. Maybe if I work hard, I can tame goats someday. But for now, the sheep are my friends.
I'm Cameron, and I'll be playing the character Soter Cloakfield. I am a tailor, a seamster to nobility. I take all of the clothes, or I take, wool from the shepherds. I take fur from the furriers. I take, feathers from the people who tend those, the geese flocks, and I synthesize it all into clothes. I'm a humble tailor and absolutely nothing more.
Okay. I believe you.
Not suspicious at all.
Up until that point.
Thanks, Karen.
Who told?
I'm Stina Kellen, and I, as a child, became fascinated by writing, and I thought, hey, you know what sucks? Working on a farm. You know what would be better? Working inside, and I decided I was going to learn how to be a scribe because I met a scribe, and I taught myself how to read. I taught myself how to write real nice, and then I got myself a very cushy job for Lord Begier?
Begier.
Begier? For Lord Begier, because he is bored. He does not want to bother reading his stuff and doing his paperwork. So I get to do that for him. I write all sorts of things. I read all sorts of things I am not supposed to read. I am a very curious person, and this suits me just fine. Also, I do not have to work outside. My skin very white, my hands very soft.
All right, and I'm Ian. I'll be playing Bryce Ilson. Recently found good work. I always loved building things, making things. I always loved fire, and I always loved eating. So I thought, what better way to combine those all together than to become a baker? You know, being a blacksmith, just a little bit too difficult for me. So I've been doing quite well at that in the past few years, and people have started to take notice.
Ooh.
It's been a really good thing for me.
I like that your affinity for fire led to like a baking profession. It seems about right.
I don't have the skin for blacksmithing.
Still, the oven needs to be the right temperature.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes me really happy.
So at around dusk, you receive notification that you're going to be called on for some of your service days. So tomorrow morning, you're supposed to, instead of going to whatever your job is, you're going to report to Manager Silva, and she's going to tell you what your job is. You're told this is a 3-day job.
Okay.
If there's anything you want to do in preparation for that, we can do that. If you're like, Dale, I have nothing to do, let's skip ahead, we can do that.
I'm going to say goodbye to the sheep.
All right.
It's important that if I'm going to be leaving, that they don't get lonely. So it's just managing expectations. I've had one.
Do you have a favorite sheep?
No, I love them all equally.
Okay.
That's nice.
I would be finishing up any jobs that I have. Like if anybody brought anything to be mended, that's going to have to get out the door tonight because it's winter, and I assume people are going to need their clothes.
Right. So when you're working with these materials for the nobles, you sometimes have bits left over that you could sew together, but that would just not look good enough for a noble. They assume you throw out these bits. Is that what you do?
Well, I mean, it would be criminal to throw away brocade.
Okay.
I assume very little bits could be turned into something that would delight a child, like a little plush animal of some kind. But, you know, I assume others would be just go missing.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's evening that we're getting this news, right?
Yeah, the news usually goes out right when most people, their day is getting less busy.
Right. But this is when I go to work.
Right.
Essentially, I am at work when I receive this news, I would say. So I guess I go to my boss and I say, well, it's that time. I gotta go do the thing. You know the thing.
I hate the thing.
I hate the thing too, right? I mean, I hate the thing. I don't know how loud we're allowed to actually talk about that, you know. But it looks like I won't be able to be here for like a couple of days. Hopefully that's okay?
I mean, it has to be okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll work extra hard at the shift tonight. I think it's karaoke night.
Well, so how long can you stay?
Let's say what is time? I guess in this world is there like noon? Sure. Okay. So I guess like
there'll always be a midday and a midnight.
True.
No matter.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll probably work till maybe an hour after midnight or something like that. Just to really I don't need that much sleep. I'm a night owl.
Well, you're supposed to report at dawn, and it's winter, so that's way better.
Oh, way better.
Reporting at dawn in midsummer.
Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, I can sleep until like almost noon at this point. So yeah, let's do some karaoke, and I'll serve all the drinks and all that kind of jazz. I'll be the upstanding barkeep that I need to be today.
All right, because if you do even if you do your whole shift, like that can only be good.
Yeah, and make a little extra cash,
right?
Stuff like that. I have a nice little bachelor home that I live in, and it's great. Yeah, and I need to, make the payments somehow.
Well, I think it was assigned to you by one of the lords.
Okay.
So the payments are just like his heavy taxation.
Ah, okay.
Your bachelor hovel.
Right. Yes. Okay.
All right. Anyone else have anything they want to do?
I generally get up early anyway, so I'll be coming in to report after I get up and do my job in the morning.
Okay.
I will, first of all, going to finish copying the rude poem Lord
Bagheer.
Bagheer asked me to copy because he's got some guests coming over. It's the one with the upskirt mentions. It's like there's a game that you used to play in the Middle Ages before any better entertainment had been invented, and it would be these long poems on scrolls where every verse was filthy or embarrassing, and there'd be like stuffs glued to the outside, so you'd like pick like a stick at random and then roll the scroll, and then you'd have to like read the rude verse that was associated with like the feather or the stick that was stuck to the scroll in that spot. So
It's
it was
like hitting random on Rap Genius.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, good.
So I've got to copy one of those because he's got a big party coming up.
Primordial Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, it was apparently they were called rigmaroles, and that might be where the word comes from. That's apocryphal. But anyhow, so I got to copy one of those, and then I'm gonna go to the servant who lives in the next quarter over, Effie. Knock. Effie.
Yeah.
I have to go and do 3 of my service days, and it's going to be outside and it's winter, and I hate being outside and I hate the winter. Can I borrow some of your woolen socks? I will give you some wax and some quills if you would like.
Yeah, I can work with that.
All right, excellent. Here you go.
So you arrange a trade.
I extra socks so
Extra
I'm not
socks.
cold.
I feel it's so that you're less cold.
Yeah. Yeah, I will be unhappy, but I will be less cold.
All right.
Actually, yes, question.
Yes.
Do I live... I work for House Tolliver.
Yes.
Do I live in their keep, or do I live out somewhere in town?
They have a servants sort of building near their manor house.
So I would report to the houseman.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would do that and tell
Okay.
him that I've been called up for 3 service days, so I will be unavailable.
So he had already been notified.
Oh, good.
So those of you who work directly for a noble, well, your bosses have already been told out of courtesy that you're not going to be there.
All right.
Those of you who work for like the bartender.
We gotta give that information.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would miss me. It's not rare to be out in the field for a week with the sheep, with the flock.
All right. So you're not getting one of your sisters or brothers to go replace you. You're just leaving the sheep out there.
Oh, they're very well tended to. They'll be fine.
Okay.
Oftentimes you have to go out and find one if it's stray, but they know the land.
You have an understanding with your sheep, and they'd never disappoint you, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
They're tame.
They're not tame. They're free. This is their land as much as I'm one of them, not so much a guardian.
Right.
They're like a Roomba for lawns.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair.
Except whenever there's a cliff, the Roomba stops and.
Yeah, the Roombas are more clever than the sheep.
Yeah.
All right. So the next morning, you are to report to Manager Silva, and she's going to tell you what's going on. You said you're going to work first.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do anything different at work that day?
Just make sure to leave a note letting them know that that someone else is going to have to roll out and rise the dough tomorrow because I will not be available.
Okay.
I also take a little bit of the dough to the side and leave it outside in a container in case any of these younger apprentices mess up my sourdough.
Strategic sourdough reserve.
All right. So you head to where Manager Silva is, which is part of the main. So Lady Rate is the main noble of Rasham, and she has 2 noble vassals, Lord Bagheer and Lord
Tolliver.
Tolliver.
Or Tolvalip. Sorry.
That sounds right. Tall.
Tofflet.
So, this is Manager Silva works for Lady Wright. So she is. She has gray hair. She is quite no nonsense. You've all had assignments from her before. She apparently has a sense of humor. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it,
Okay.
but there are rumors of people who have heard her make a joke. Anyway, so she will be ready for you whenever you get there. You didn't know initially who else was going to be there. Now, in a town of 700 people, you probably all know each other. Some of you might even have had these work missions before together. That's up to you.
Okay.
It's also up to you how many days out of your 800 you've worked and how far you are into your 10 years. That sounds like a character decision that probably won't affect me.
I mean, I would say that Blaze is fairly like younger.
Okay.
So like he's maybe worked a couple of these shifts, but not too many.
Sure.
Yeah, he's fresh to this.
All right. So you see the other four.
Oh man. Ugh. Anyone else have way too late of a night last night? Yeah.
As always.
Well, I hope nobody takes this personally, but I'm glad to see that it's not. They didn't recruit all the large people.
Oh yeah, all of us are very small and indoorsy.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe this is some sort of brainy mission, and I won't have to freeze my butt off for 3 days. I'm excited.
I mean, I've been working out a little bit, but
I look
guess-
around, I'm like dressed in leather and I'm very clearly a large outdoor person, just like, and I just get really uncomfortable and introverted.
Well,
Just like, am I in the wrong place?
they didn't call up the levies.
Yeah, they could, if they needed muscle, they could have called up any number of people who make bricks for a living, right?
That's true. I mean, sometimes you got to think about how like well-meaning this whole conscript business is.
Maybe they're planning a party.
That'd be cool. Being a guard at a party. I know a thing or two about parties, actually.
That would explain why I'm here.
Yeah, I know many rude poems that people like to read and hear read at parties.
I am super interested in those poems.
So I think you have a stunt
Yes.
that lets you use rapport to know stuff that has been rumored.
Okay.
So why don't you give me a rapport check?
Okay.
please?
I am great at rapport,
That
apparently.
does sound like you.
Yeah. So that would be, looks like a -1, so a good.
So,
+3.
you heard that there has been something going on at Fort Elias. There were some rumors that there were some guards who had been murdered or something like that. And so a couple of days ago, all of the brick makers and the levies were gathered up and sent off to the fort.
Okay. Now, as cool as a party would be, I'm under the impression, I heard through the grapevine that there's some serious biz going on right now, and a lot of those strong people actually were sent away. We're kind of like the leftovers, the replacements, as it were.
That sounds good, but honestly, if there's just 4 of us, it can't be that big of a deal.
Well, there's 5 of us.
I am
But-
here.
I mean, we're all very tiny. It
He's
looks like-
right here, guys.
Call it a baker's half dozen, and we'll deal with it then.
What's your name?
I'm Shilgan.
Nice to meet you, Shilgan.
I feel like I'm in the wrong place, but I was assured the summons are right. I can't read, but hand it.
You're in the right place.
Oh, thank goodness.
Is this where I point out it's awkward that I've been not practicing longbow?
I brought my sling.
It's actually illegal for you to practice with a
Really?
longbow.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I didn't know if we had feudal levies or not.
You are not one of those.
Okay.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know a thing or two about swinging a sword or any of that kind of jazz, but hey, I'm young. I'm full of. By the way, I'm Blaze. It's nice to meet all you guys. I work over at the bar, the tavern.
Oh, we've seen you a couple times there.
Yeah.
I've sat quietly in the corner and had a drink or two.
Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't recognize you guys.
It's okay.
Soter.
Pleasure to meet you.
Stina.
Nice to meet you, Stina. I think look at this group. We're gonna get along great.
This one time I saw a lion.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds spooky.
Yeah, I shouted really loud and then it left.
Damn.
Only
Good
ever
on
read
you,
about
man.
Lions.
My flock was safe.
Did it breathe fire? Did it have 2 eldritch horns?
No, it was just a really large cat. But it didn't eat my flock.
Well, hey, maybe we should go talk to Silva.
Yeah.
To figure out, instead of speculating, I guess we could probably go figure out exactly what's going on here.
Good point. We don't need to give them too many extra half days.
So you head in to see the manager, and you have a bit of a wait. There was another group ahead of you. She sends them off, and she's like, and make sure all the leaves are gone. And you get ushered in. She's like, right, great. The tough group, good. So, I have an assignment for you, and you are going to go into the Elkwood Forest. Now, I have a permit signed by Lady Rate giving each of you permission to travel through the King's lands. So, you can go into there for 3 days, and after that, the permission expires. Now, all of you know that technically it's illegal for you to go into the Elkwood because the Elkwood belongs to the king. Everything that's in there belongs to the king. But the king's a long way away. People routinely look the other way when people go into the Elkwood. Everyone goes into the Elkwood all the time. It's up to you whether you've been into the Elkwood. You might have been into the Elkwood.
Once
Yeah.
or twice.
Yeah.
Elkwood, kind of
Unaware.
like the piratebay.org.
Or just like where all the good parties are?
Possibly,
Yeah, I've thrown a couple of bush parties out there.
Yeah.
So, but now you're like that's what's going on here, and Manager Silva can't acknowledge any of that.
I don't mention that out loud.
Yeah.
So, there is a rumor that the king can tell what one of the managers says. I mean, magic isn't reliable, but it exists, and it's hard to know what is possible and what isn't. But that's the rumor, and certainly Manager Silva is always on the legalistic side of making sure that anything said officially is all right and proper.
Okay.
Okay, so back to the briefing.
Yes.
All right, so here's your assignment. You're going to go into the Elkwood,
Okay.
and then you're going to come back, and you're going to report on what you found.
Do we have
Yes,
an
ma'am.
idea of what's in there?
I'm sure if we did, we wouldn't need you to go take a look.
That makes sense.
Now, the reason that I'm choosing such hefty people is that you are the third group I'm giving this assignment. So perhaps you'll find a couple of other groups in there.
Oh, and we can meet up and like group together.
Yes.
Or like their remains?
I'm sure we would all like to know what happened to them. Because the situation has changed so much, I am giving you, well, clearly you're the leader here, so I will give it to you. And she hands you a little piece of parchment. And she says, that should take care of everything. Thank you very much. Please report back in 3 days.
Sounds good.
All right, off you go.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, ma'am.
Just walk out. I can't read this.
You have an expense account. You can wander around town and requisition things on the lady's dime.
Wow. We can get stuff for this mission.
What kind of stuff?
Like weapons, armor, scarves,
Okay,
hats.
it's illegal for you to have weapons and armor.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But yes,
Like
scarves and
supplies?
hats.
Like snacks.
Right. So, do any of you know how to ride?
No.
The forest is perhaps not
Not.
necessarily where you want to be riding a horse if
But
you don't know how to
we
ride.
could definitely pull a sled.
Yeah,
Or
you could get a
cinch.
mule.
Yeah.
So
Snowshoes.
instead of
Like a
us spending a lot of time shopping, you guys are going to get some stuff. This isn't a huge market town. They don't have lots of tons of awesome stuff. So we're going to say you get a bunch of things, and at any point during the game, you can say, oh, well, it would have been perfect if we had this, but we don't. We have that, so let's improvise with it.
Sure.
And if you really think that you would have had this, we can make some dice rolls and you can spend some fate points.
All right.
All right.
So, I mean, we can do some shopping, role playing if that's fun, but otherwise, you have stuff.
Or in the woods.
I'm okay
All
with
I
that.
need is a good beast skin cloak.
Oh my goodness!
Maybe
I
a sturdy femur-like wooden staff. I think I'm good.
I've read about that, Dale.
Oh.
I've read the young nobleman's guide to huffing it out in the king's forest for 3 days, unsupervised, to prove that you are worthy enough to marry a princess. Is a very, very thin book.
Seems like it'd be in a couple of niche libraries.
Well, I mean, Lord Big Ear doesn't read. So, you know what? But somebody gave it to him clearly as a child, thinking it would encourage him to be a more hearty man. But I've read that book, and I can tell you that we're going to need all of these camping supplies for a comfortable night out in the woods.
All right, so you know exactly what you need. A few of
Spend
them
my fate point.
are even available in town.
Yeah, yeah. We need something called a thermarest. We don't have that. How about some blankets?
So my favorite part here is I actually have the survival skill, but I'm not assertive enough to say anything.
Oh,
So I'll get a scarf. And I've always dreamt of wearing a scarf. The nobles wear scarves, now I have a scarf. Wow, my neck is so warm.
So on that expense account, it does say that you're going to be returning all of these goods at the end. You don't have to tell that to Shogun if you want to let him have his dream.
hey Shogun, how's that scarf treating you?
This is the greatest day of my life.
He looks so good in it.
Just treat it as well as you want to be treated, because we have to return that when we're done our little woods adventure here. Do you want a hat with ear flaps? I'm getting a hat with ear flaps.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I will accept the hat.
I am bundled up.
Okay.
I am wearing like 2 coats and a scarf and a hat and 2 pairs of gloves, and now I have 3 pairs of socks on and a pair of like woolly underwear underneath my pants. I'm very cozy now.
Great.
I
So
don't move fast, but I'm warm.
I would like a notice check from you, please.
Sure. What am I on notice? I'm fair. So I get. So I have good on notice.
Great. That is a terrible roll. So, you notice a figure up on a roof just as it pushes a barrel of sludgy water over to try to soak you. So that means that you can attempt some athletics to leap out of the way.
Uh-oh. What am I on athletics?
Is there a way to save our friend? Notice is my highest skill.
I don't know if you were all out
Okay, then don't worry about it.
shopping together. I mean, if you have an idea to save your friend, just
I do,
jump in.
because since she gave me the toque, I want to see if I can rescue her in time.
All right. What are you going to do?
I'd like to grab the sling, and I'd like to use my sling to wrap her and pull her out of the way.
Oh, wow. All right, so I think what you can do is you can try to give her a boost, which is going to give her a +2 on her roll.
Okay.
So give me your sling roll.
I have this stunt sling expert.
Right. So you're going to be using, I guess, you use the shoot skill to try to manipulate the sling. Let's just go with that.
Sure. And I have to use a fate point to use a skill?
No.
Okay. Come on, big roll. Aha!
Even.
2, and then +2 for the bonus there. I have a 4, which is a great roll.
All right, so you have a boost.
Oh, good, because I've got no skill in athletics whatsoever, so it's whatever happens. I get a -1 on that.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
But I go to, that means with a boost, I go to good.
Right. So a -1 with the boost goes to average.
Oh, to average.
So
Am I going to fail this?
you are an average success is going to mean that you don't take the entire barrel of sludgy, icy water directly over top of you. You only take about 2/3 of it. But certainly the insides of your boots are filled, and you're very, very cold.
I'm very unhappy, Dale. I think that happens.
I'm sorry, Stina. People always say I'm slow.
Who did that to me? I'm really angry.
Someone who's running away across the rooftops.
But who would be on a rooftop?
As somebody who's like kind of got like I've seen a lot of people in town. Is there any possible way that I would be able to recognize them from the distance we're at all?
This does sound like a sort of thing you could do. Why don't you give me a notice check?
Okay, I am fair at notice.
Excellent. I actually care more about the result than the pre-dice number.
Then it's an even roll.
Okay, so you're fair. So you would need to be better than fair to do this.
Okay.
Now, if I'm going to explain another mechanic. So if at any point you've rolled your dice and you're thinking, oh, I just wish that were a little bit better, you can invoke one of your aspects.
Okay.
And you say, I have this aspect that applies here. Take my fate point and I get +2. Your aspects are on the left-hand side of the first column on the front of your page. I also didn't fill up any of your aspects. If some of you discover something about your character that you're like, oh, that's actually part of my personality or something, you can add another aspect. You have a sort of a high concept, and you have something that's trouble, and then you can have up to 3 other aspects.
Okay. So I mean, I've got high concept beloved. So like people end up telling me a lot of things, and people like me in town. I don't know if that would necessarily apply here. So.
So the way you do it is you say, this applies because,
Okay.
and push a fate point toward me.
Or you can make up a new one on the spot. You could be like, I know a guy, because you're the bartender. That could be an aspect if you think you know a lot of people.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't recognize who that person is at all, but I definitely recognize that they've got a cloak that is fairly known. The style of it is from a fairly well-known clothier in town, and I betcha they could give us an idea of who exactly just pushed that sledge if we went to go see them.
So you know who probably the best known clothier in town is? So you didn't see the cloak.
Right.
So you would need to have the cloak described to you.
Yeah.
I assume we're at the stores, right, together, picking up supplies?
I'm unclear. So why
Okay.
doesn't someone tell me?
I think we're
Let's assume we're all out at the supplier, the outfitter, the village stores,
I'm picturing an
using
open-
this
yeah.
this purchasing or our expense account to pick up the stuff we need.
I'm picturing an open square. There's like a fountain in the middle, and we were loading stuff into the cart, and Kathleen was walking out, and somebody dumped things on her. So we can see the person going away because of the open square, but not enough to actually interact with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back inside,
Yeah, you should.
wring out my clothing, and put my boots by the fire.
Okay,
I follow
why don't you
that.
describe to me the cloak?
All right. It was hard to completely tell, but it was like a dark tan, but I could clearly see some sort of like emblem that it appeared to be like a squirrel or something, like in the like right kind of on the back, and there were also like little blue toggles kind of throughout it.
So that was a commission because Zem Aber came back from working in the wars, and because you're allowed to sign up in the military and just do 2 years. Some
right.
people are like, I'm not doing 800 days. That's more than 2 years. So some people save the days and go off and work in the military.
Okay,
And he
right.
came back with a bunch of prize money, and he bought that for his mum.
Somebody stole Zem's mother's cloak.
What a dink!
Oh, which direction did they take off in?
It was north.
Can I use my... What's off in that direction?
Farms
Farms, you say. Where does Zem live?
on a farm.
In that direction?
Yes. Now,
I'll be right back. I think I was at the blacksmith stall with Bryce because we were looking at we'll need to cut firewood.
Yeah.
Bryce knows firewood because makes
Yeah, we can
stove
get a nice hatchet.
like this one.
Yeah, that's.
Be right back.
all right. So one thing about Mrs. Aber is that she's partially lame, and so one of her feet doesn't work very well.
Right. So this seems unlike her.
Well, and if it is her, you should be able to figure that out with a survival roll, looking at sort of the light snowfall and seeing the footprints. You just need to be fair at survival to do this.
Well, that's good. That would be a 0.
That's not as good as fair.
No, I don't have a survival skill at all.
Do you know any sort of outdoorsy people who could help with that?
Shilgan, could you help me look at something, please?
Yeah. I'm needed. I've never been needed. What can I do?
These tracks, what do they look like to you?
I have a fair check, and I describe them.
So, what you're describing is that it's a very irregular gait, one healthy foot and one not so healthy foot.
It looks like somebody who has an injured leg. Or some type of irregular gait.
Be right back.
Do you need
Do you want us to come
company?
with you?
I would appreciate some company, but I'll handle the specifics.
All right, I'll come with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be the big quiet guy who stands behind you.
Well, well, hold on. Do you want company drying yourself off, or
No, I'm
that
gonna,
sounded weird? Do you want me to not leave you alone?
No, I'm just gonna stay inside.
Okay.
With an excuse for not having to go anywhere for 40 minutes because my clothes are drying
Let me
out.
see
I'm
if I can
like,
get
this is
those
great.
closer to the fire. I can probably.
Got a
help out with
bellows
that a
in
bit
there.
better.
That's what me and Bryce are doing. We're drying out all my clothes.
All right.
I feel like even these people who are get to work are well, you can't go into the woods soaking wet. You die.
In the middle of winter.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll go with starter then.
All right.
Okay.
My apologies for splitting the party. You guys are not in this scene.
No, that's okay.
It's okay.
I mean, maybe this is a good chance to throw some business the bakeries to Bryce's way.
Yeah.
We'll need provisions for 3 days.
True. We get a sponsorship.
Go
deal.
get some hardtack, shall we?
Yeah. This
Hard
adventure
tack,
brought
soft
you.
tack, medium tack,
Yep.
tack,
Apparently they make sourdough.
Tic tac.
tic tac.
Ooh, can we get those buns with the currants in?
If we have any.
If you're good.
They're supposed to, be mostly for the aristocracy. So,
We can't return
got-
any of these buns.
We got an aristocracy expense account.
There's a
Right.
number of currants that
it
somehow
says you're in charge.
end up on. There's a number of currants that end up on the ground in the baking process that are then unacceptable for consumption by the aristocracy, no matter how much they're washed.
That one's a spider.
Please don't give me spider buns.
More delicious than you might think.
I don't. That's not what I need to hear.
Good protein too.
So it's crunch.
They're peppery.
Has anybody ever sent you food made from bugs in mealtime?
No.
Oh,
but,
don't give them that idea.
But
Okay.
I have had bags of bugs in.
For real.
They're delicious.
I would try that.
Like grasshoppers.
Yeah,
honey.
I'd try it.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're gonna go see
I
lady.
I use my survival. Well, not necessarily. No assumptions. I'll use my survival skill to see where the tracks lead.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yes. So you've identified the tracks. Now
Yeah.
you want to figure out, because it's still lightly snowing, so you want to be able to see them through the light snow. That's not going to be too tough,
Okay.
I
but it's still a dice game.
determining who it was. I'm like, with the hatchet, don't need it. Zem's mother is gone.
Fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you head toward the Aber farm. Mm-hmm. That's where the tracks are leading.
Excellent.
And then the tracks sort of stop before you get there, and they lead to a small shed of some sort off to the side before you actually got into the farm.
Huh. Is it on? Okay, so it's not on the farm?
You're not yet at the farm.
Okay.
You're heading toward the farm, but the tracks...
Shed off to the side. Okay. Leads to a door, and I'm like, okay, well, knock, knock, knock.
So, who is it?
It's Soter Cloakfield. I was admiring your cloak.
It was a gift from my son.
I know, I made it for him. It's a lovely piece. It's very distinctive.
He's a good boy. He just sometimes forgets that.
Oh, I'm not here for him.
Can you make a rapport skill?
I
please?
absolutely can.
Ooh.
Not.
I could also help out with the talking.
Yeah.
That's kind of my skill.
Yeah, why don't...
Well, okay,
Yeah.
Well, you've done all the
roll.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Positive, barely. That is a average roll.
Okay, so she's worried about her son.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, I'm not here for him. So, you hear some bangs and some creaks coming from inside the shed. The shed door is not locked.
Right. Let's...
You're just being courteous.
Yeah. Can we come in?
Yes, in about half an hour.
Maybe she's naked.
Hey.
Sorry, what's her name?
Yes, I also.
Mrs. Aber.
Mrs. Aber.
Yeah.
I've been told it's very rude to disturb a lady.
That's correct, Shulkin.
Mrs. Aber, you might not know me. I'm Blaze. I work down at the Broken Door Tavern.
Oh, are you using the Beloved?
Yes. Yes.
Good for you. That sounds like the kind of upstanding work that young men do.
Yeah. I'm actually I'm a good friend of your son, and we really, if it's okay, I know you might be in the middle of something, but we actually have to head out on a mission here really soon. If we could just pop in and say hello and because something terrible happened, and we need your input.
So how well do you know her son?
I would say he's come in once or twice.
All right.
Because people of all varieties come to the Broken Tavern. He's a little bit on the quieter side. Never really got to know him too well, but I'm aware of him.
Right. So your stunt is getting a lot of mileage in this game. So give me another rapport check, please.
Okay. So that would be 5, which is superb.
All right. So Zem would come in on occasion and order expensive things, and he's been living a little bit beyond his means. And he has resorted to petty theft to make up for that, which is not as huge a deal as it could be because they recovered things, but now he's not, like you said, he came in once or twice. Well, he hasn't come in recently because now he's trying to make up for it, but he's on parole.
Okay.
And he's used up all the strikes that won't do terrible things to him.
Right. Okay. Okay. Good to know. Is it all right if we come in?
So now I need the rapport for you actually talking to Mrs. Aber.
Okay. Great.
You can come in.
Okay. Is that all right, friends?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Shield your eyes just in case.
All right. I'm coming in, and I cover my eyes a little bit,
my
but
eyes too.
have like
All right.
one, and they're like, all right, hi, it's me, your boy Blaze, and I like
All right.
come on
So
in
she's-
and close the door behind me.
I mean,
Oh.
this is a shed. It's like 10 feet by 10 feet.
Right.
And she's at the back trying to figure out if she can get out the back. Like, that's sort of, she's moving things around and
Oh.
trying to, like, push on boards.
Yeah,
She's like, hello, so you're a friend of Zem's?
I am. Yeah, he's been by the bar quite a number of times.
Do you know where he is?
That's what I'm hoping to find out. It's nothing bad. It's just I know he's going through some stuff right now, and I really think that we can help him.
Well, I heard that your group was being sent to get all of the people who've gone into the Elkwood.
Yeah.
And a couple of days ago, I told him not to do it, but Zem went to cut down a winter festival tree. And I told him he'd do it, but I've got this leg and he wouldn't let me. And I tried to stop him because if he gets caught doing this,
Yeah.
it's going to be bad for him. So don't go.
To the Elkwood?
Right.
But we were sent there. And you have no idea where he might have taken any of this kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, he's just probably having trouble finding a tree, and so he's been in there for a few days.
All right, I gotta be honest. Did he take the cloak? I don't see it around here at all.
Oh, it's over here, and she was wearing the cloak.
Oh, she
and,
was.
and,
Sorry.
and she,
Put it down.
had moved it down, and then she piled some boxes, and it's like, oh yeah, here's the cloak.
That is so odd.
No, it's a nice cloak.
No. no, not that. It's just
It's got an embroidered animal down here.
yeah, a squirrel. Yeah, it's a squirrel, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, it's so odd because I could have sworn I saw one just like it, like a couple of minutes ago. Miss Aber. Mrs. Aber.
Thank you for the visit. I must be going now. Don't go into the Elkwood.
All right. Well, listen. You have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
All right. And remember, watch out. Like, bundle up. I don't want anybody to get wet. And I like shoot her a glance. And then
That
like walk
would be
out.
bad.
Can I eavesdrop on this conversation?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like with notice, or can I just be like,
I can't imagine that you
Yeah.
you would have to work not to hear this. This
Yeah.
conversation is like
I'm not a-
closer to you
I'm
than
not
I
a
am to
quiet
you.
man.
10 foot by 10.
So I guess I leave. Get out the
Alright.
door and I sort of relay this information to everyone.
Zem was poaching in the Elkwood?
Yeah, I don't know how this relates to Stina getting some dirty water dumped
I
on her.
assume she's trying to protect her son. If we go into the Elkwood and find him cutting down trees, then we'll have to arrest him, and he's on his last strike.
She was trying to prevent us from going by getting
Yeah.
Stina all wet. That makes way more sense.
Look, Zem's a very sweet boy.
Well,
Well,
I guess we should meet up with the rest of the. I don't think we can turn down going on this mission.
no, absolutely not.
We gotta do it.
There's
in
one thing
charge.
I've learned. It's
Yes, you are, big
Yeah.
guy.
yeah, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Who's in charge?
Me.
All right, well, let's go meet up with the rest of the crew, I guess.
That was mean.
Wow.
Now I feel bad.
While this was all happening,
Yes.
I would like to, if I may, Stina, can I pop out to the quill makers for a few minutes? There's a couple things I want to pick up there.
Sure.
Thank you. I need to pick up a few pieces of paper and some quills and pop back to my place for an hour or so in between.
Okay.
As an aside, can I, the strawberry?
Yes.
I'm going to bring it with me.
Really? How are you carrying it?
I think I would hem it into my clothes.
Okay. What should we tell people about that? Nothing at all?
It's a private matter.
Like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
more or less, yeah.
All right.
Oh, secrets!
We don't even know. I don't even know what's going on.
I would like to add a new aspect to my character.
Yes.
Slow but steady.
Okay. That does sound like a great aspect for your character. Do you have a pencil?
I'm going to borrow
Weep.
pens. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
So you're picking up some parchment and some quills.
And then headed back to my place for about an hour or so.
All right. So you can have there was expected to be some skin coming in for parchment, and the guy who was going to be bringing in the skins has gone missing.
Oh no.
But they can give you one piece of well-scraped parchment,
That will do.
and then, some wooden pens and some ink.
That should do.
All right.
What size are we talking here?
Like 8.5 by 5.5.
Perfect. That's all we want.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So you're alone by the stove,
Yeah, in the general store.
right?
Maybe I'm having a nice conversation.
Okay. Who are you having a conversation with?
Having a conversation with Mrs. Slurt, who
All right.
runs the store.
Every time you give her the option to make a name, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, it's
Amen.
it's all I can come up with.
It's so good.
And we'll say Mrs. Slurt is an old lady who's seen a lot of things and has no patience. And sort of, I left and I was like, I'll finally be warm. And then I came back 3 seconds later, like, I am very wet and cold. Can I sit by your fire? And she was like, well, ain't that the dickens? Yeah, obviously. All right. So let me tell you about my times out in the woods, because I know they all say don't go in the woods, but I tell you what, I've been in the woods a lot of times. And I'll tell
She's
you
somehow
what.
smoking while still talking.
Yeah, she's defied all age curve expectations, and she's like 80. I'm still working, because
for
everybody
her.
related to her is incompetent, I believe is what she'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She grows her pipeweed in the hydro out back.
Yeah. Yeah.
My 4 generations of kids are all useless.
Yeah. Wish I could consign them to the army. Stupid 800 days thing.
I'm also
Maybe
pick-
they would have learned some manners.
So maybe one of her employees was in one of the first 2 groups that went into the woods and hasn't come back
yeah.
yet.
Yeah. Oh, is that where Finnabar went? Did they went into the woods too, and they haven't come back? Yeah, they're probably just blowing on.
I love her.
We're
Well, Mrs. Slurd, looks like all my stuff's dry, and I'll be leaving. Ah, you all leave me. I'll outlive all you bastards.
You probably will.
Maybe she ashes her cigarette on my cloak.
wow. I'll
Grandma.
do a quick survival double check of all of our gear to make sure we actually have stuff to live off of before
Okay.
we leave. Oh, wasting good rolls. I got a good.
Excellent. So you make sure you have enough stuff.
Yes.
All right. So you have enough stuff that you're not going to freeze. You have food. You have water. If at some point you need something more specific, well, you don't have that, but you might have something that'll do.
So we could shelter, make a fire, cook food, drink water, be miserable but alive.
Yes.
It is generally frowned upon to hunt in the King's Land, or do we have permission to hunt in the King's Land?
You, neither of those things. So it is generally accepted that the people of Rasham hunt in the King's Land.
Cool.
But
Okay.
you're not allowed to hunt in the King's Land.
Okay.
People just sort of look the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's poaching.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Are you not even allowed to get firewood in the King's Land? Because it's technically the King's
the King's.
firewood.
It's technically the King's firewood. I mean, there are other forests, but
Right.
the elkwood is the nice forest.
And it's right there.
It's got
Yeah.
the good wood.
Like, that's why it was given to the king, is it's the good part.
Right.
Well, he's not around.
Right. That's how the whole town kind of feels. And
Can hear you.
You can hear?
Yeah.
Are we ready to embark?
Feeling ready, I believe.
Yes.
I'm going to say I'm dry and ready to go.
We best find get moving while we can still find a good place to camp.
all right, so
In the light.
you said you had a sledge? Is that right? What do you have in terms of large
I assume
carrying things.
we're pulling a sledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're pulling a sledge.
Yeah.
Great.
I assume you don't take a mule out in snow that's like
I mean,
could
you'd
be.
have to clear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I assume
pulling-
we have
yeah.
snowshoes and
Either
a sledge.
I am
would
pulling
say
a
either
sledge.
Surge
Okay.
or I would. I don't know what
Or
you're.
we'd probably take turns.
Oh, definitely.
That's going to be all about physique.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm fair at physique, and you're good, right? You got a good physique, my dude.
What's up?
Yeah, I suppose it's a matter if, it's better for us to take turns or if watching us try makes you angry.
It wouldn't last one day with the flock.
The flock.
Yeah, that's why I work indoors, my dude.
Never seen somebody as white as a sheep.
You can't just say that, dude.
So fair. It's like the sun's never hit her before.
Nope. Nope. Let's go to the forest.
So you head to the forest. It comes into view, and you see a lot of places here and there where things have been burned.
Oh.
That's unusual.
It is unusual.
Very.
Shouldn't light fire in the
Strange.
king's land.
Well, but also it's winter. Who's out here lighting fires anyhow?
The worst arson.
Oh, incompetent arsonists. Perfect. But
Is it like the trees are burnt or somebody had a fire?
So this is like you see the forest in the distance. This is the first eye contact you've had with it. You notice there are some burnt patches. It could be either because you're a long way away. I'm telling you the moment it
Okay.
comes within
Right
vague.
up to the edge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this a notice check moment?
I think you just need to walk up to it to
Okay.
get more.
Alright.
We'll head towards the area where there's
Let's check
bird-
out. Let's
yeah.
specifically check out the burned areas.
Sure. So this is the closest part of the forest to the town, and if you have some sort of survival skill or wood lore skill or fire knowledge skill or any other skill that you want to roll for learning stuff about fire that happened at the edge of the forest.
If I could, roll against just having a look at the fire, examining it,
All right.
and I think I need to use that for that. Is that a stunt-based action?
Oh,
You can use it to get a higher roll.
Yeah.
you're using your stunt for this.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very intrigued by this.
All right.
He does like fire, he mentioned.
holy moly!
Whoa, that's
Wow.
+4.
That was a category 5. It was probably said 2 days ago. It was very lovely color.
What's your
can
total
hear
there?
it
Are we
talking to me.
legendary here?
That's stunts will give me a +2. That is 6 currently.
Fantastic.
Well, so you're looking at these fires. They are about a week old, and as you approach the location of one of these fires, you can sort of see a shimmering of what the fire did, and clearly it was started deliberately. And as you're looking at sort of the image of the fire as though you were seeing it happen a week ago, you can see that someone carefully made sure the fire did not spread from this tree and then moved on to another tree.
Yeah, I'd like to relay that information, though, from a perspective of the fact that I've seen a lot of fires in my time, and I've really learned how to watch how they move. This one was very specifically set up. This was not a natural fire.
Is there anything different about the trees that weren't burnt?
Do you have some sort of tree looking at skill?
Other than notice. I can just notice if they look visually different.
Just survival? No.
Yeah, survival would tell you stuff about different trees.
Sure. I just figure, I'll use my shepherd thing. I'm used to looking at the land and seeing if something is dangerous to the flock or not.
All right, so you're kind of looking
Yeah,
at
well-
the tree specifically, but over this whole section of forest.
Yeah, and I get a good roll on survival altogether for that.
Including the +2?
I get a superb roll altogether.
right. So, what you can tell is all of the trees that are of the type that people would cut down to use as winter festival trees have been burned and hacked up.
Oh.
Interesting. Interesting.
And then we know that someone who did this was careful that the fire wouldn't spread.
So they only wanted to take out the winter festivus trees, but not the rest of the trees.
Now, I think some of you might have been here before. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've
Yes.
probably been here before.
Yeah.
Especially with just right on the edge of
Bush party.
All right. So one thing that's new is there's a trail leading into the forest that wasn't here previously.
How well worn does this trail look? Is it a new trail, or is it like,
It's older than the snowfall.
and like the bush has been hacked away to make a proper path?
Yes.
Oh, that's unusual. Huh.
And I used to have to like push through all the bushes to get through here, and somebody just hacked away a new path.
Probably a bad idea if we're not supposed to be in the King's Land.
Yeah,
to
it's
make an
pretty
established
blatant.
trail in the King's
Yeah.
Land. Yeah.
Does it lead to anywhere particular in town? Does it start out
The trail does not extend. Like it's,
Oh, okay.
It's just a clearing into,
into
the forest.
the forest?
Yes.
How
Okay.
Honestly?
wide? Like 1-person trail or like 10-person trail?
Like maybe a meter wide.
Honestly, we're all here on the King's business. We might as well just
Yeah.
follow the trail. It's going to be easier going.
Yeah, I mean, we've got reason to be here.
Has anyone been on it recently? Like,
Not-
is there fresh snow covering it, or do we see footsteps?
There is fresh snow.
Okay.
Okay. Well, who's going to lead the way?
I will lead with the cart.
All right.
All right, so it'll be nice and clear for all of you.
Well, I
Basically
mean,
a snowplow.
Yeah.
or maybe one of us should lead with like a hatchet or a machete or something to clear brush. I imagine there's not a lot, but it'd probably be helpful.
Couldn't hurt.
Okay.
All right. Well,
There'll
Who
be
wants to
frozen
lead?
branches.
I'll take point on that.
Okay.
Nice.
I've got a big stick and a small stick with a metal thing on it, so that seems good.
I
okay.
agree. Bryce should do that.
Great. I'll walk in the middle.
Very
I'll
fine
bring up
place to
the
walk.
rear.
I'm just waiting to see how long it takes Stina to just climb into the cart.
How
That's
deep
what-
is the snow right now?
Not very.
Okay.
A few inches.
I'm whistling a merry tune
Ooh.
as we're walking through the forest to try and keep spirits high.
Your performance?
It keeps animals away.
I don't have the skill, but I could roll for it.
It sounds like someone's calling for a roll.
All
It's not
right.
me, but
Here we go.
Let's see how good this song is. Survey says
It is a -1.
that's a poor.
4. All
So
right.
we all take one
So
mental
it's
stress
Country
consequence.
road.
he did say whistling.
Yeah.
The song that never ends.
No, you know what it is? 99 bottles of beer on the wall. 99 bottles of beer. It's a Barkeep
Yeah.
song.
Yep.
Yes. I'm whistling that.
You
before
take
I-
one down, pay for it, please.
Get the hell out of my bar now.
So I sing it. I whistle a half-ass tune as we're going through, I guess.
All right.
Body.
So I would like some notice checks as we go, please.
All right.
Ooh.
Wow. How'd you do, buddy?
The -1.
You're welcome to use my dice.
Ah.
Good.
I have
Good.
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 0.
Great.
Ah.
Poor.
Okay.
I'm too busy whistling.
So several of you noted, specifically you three, notice that along here there have been more of these winter festival trees just hacked up and just left and kind of shoved in deeper into the underbrush.
So it's like somebody like took a nice winter festival tree, like a good 8-year-old fir, hacked it up so it was all uneven and lopsided, and then kicked it over and then shoved it into the underbrush.
Yes.
What a waste of a good tree. You could have taken that and decorated it for our unspecified winter festival.
Yes.
These trees were all assassinated.
Maybe it's time for us to use different trees for
We
our
did-
festival.
Maybe, do we know anybody who really hates the Winter Festival?
Ooh.
Well, other than Carl, no.
Can I recall if I've ever heard anybody kind of like slandering Winter Festivus in the bar?
Sure.
All right, using.
You have a guy who literally hears all the rumors.
Would
This
that
is
be
perfect.
contacts or
Contacts is like if you're like, who's a guy who would know this? Or
Okay.
where could I learn a thing? But you've got a stunt that lets you use
Good.
your rapport to remember rumors.
Ah.
Right. Okay, so I would.
So you're using your rapport instead of like lore or something like that.
So would I use a fate point to use the good listener thing, or just?
Not
no.
unless it says you have to invoke it, but I don't
Oh,
think you do.
it does. Okay. All right. Well then. Good.
Other than Carl, not really.
Carl again. What is what if, can I recall what Carl's deal is?
Feel free. Tell me about Carl.
Carl is this complete wangus who comes in, every other Friday, gets way sloppy, and then he just makes fun of Christmas or Winter Festivus all the time.
Legally distinct Winter
Legally distinct Winter Festival all the damn time. But I don't think he's ever been the type of person to, go and burn things down. He's kind of a I would say a skittish man who doesn't really often, like he talks a lot of game. His
All
bark,
talk.
his bark
yeah.
is a lot worse than his bite.
Yeah.
So
He lacks conviction.
yeah, this Carl hates legally distinct Winter Festival, but he doesn't hate it so much that he's gonna go start causing fires in the Elkwood.
Has anything changed?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Carl's husband they've been having fights lately, but I wouldn't know much more than that, I guess.
Interesting.
That was good stuff.
Yeah. How long
So
have you
it's
been on the
not
trail?
Carl, I don't think, but
All right. So you three noticed that. You
Ooh.
also noticed that there were a couple of places on some of the trees along this path where right around like 6 inches above the ground there are scrape marks on like a tree on either side. And then you'll go quite a ways and then you'll see like there and there, they're just these tiny little scrape marks.
As I'm pulling the card, I stop and I put up my hand.
Yes, Shilkin?
what's up?
I think I found something.
What is it? Okay.
Look.
Scrape marks on the trees, about
Chinkies.
6 inches up.
Yeah, what's it mean, buddy?
I don't know.
That's great.
Okay.
Would it be from
Does it
somebody
look like-
dragging
yeah.
another sledge?
Does it look like animals or yeah?
Yeah.
How can I here? Let me survival this.
Sure.
I get a fair roll on this. Do I know an animal that would do marks like this?
I mean,
Do the mountain lions that harass the sheep leave markings like this? Or is this a wolf or a bear?
maybe mountain lions need to sharpen their claws the way other cats do. And maybe mountain lions made 2 parallel lines to the ground and only sharpened once on each side.
Okay, so probably not a lion.
But they look like scrape marks from an animal.
Could be.
So it's basically like if the tree is up and down, it's like 2 lines like this across the bottom of the trunk.
And specifically on the festival trees or non-festival
Non-festival trees. The festival trees have all been wrecked.
Okay.
So like a scrape on this tree and a scrape on that tree. And you asked about whether it was a sledge, but there are other trees that are closer together that don't have the scrape marks.
So these were intentional.
Are they like marking something?
Yeah, does this seem like some kind of like
Trail, maybe?
yeah, trail markings or
This seems more like there was something there that has been removed.
Oh.
I look around to see if there's any other similar markings
Sure.
on trees further off the trail maybe.
Sure. Give me an investigate, please.
Is anyone good at investigation?
I am. Oh, I get a 5. I get superb.
Superb. All right. So you find some metallic, it's almost like twine, that looks like it's snapped off of something. And it could have been perhaps used in something that scraped the, like, you don't have enough information to make much of any of this. But
So it's like some sharp wire or something,
Yeah.
and it was like being drug along the ground or something, and like maybe scraped up against the tree as it was coming by, or broke off something and like scraped.
yeah, so I don't know why anyone would do this, but one thing that might account for these marks is if they took that and wrapped it around one tree and stretched it across as a tripwire. Like, why would anyone do a tripwire in the middle of the trail? But that could account for the marks.
Interesting. Why would anybody put a tripwire in a forest that you're not supposed to be in?
So I'm not saying it was a tripwire. I'm trying to describe.
Yeah.
And there's generally 2 marks too. Are there
Well, because one on each tree.
oh, it's okay. Only one on each tree. Good to know.
Interesting. Can we follow do the trees that have these like weird scrape marks? Do they could you conceivably follow from tree to tree and go into the woods and try to
No,
follow this path?
it would be 2 here, and then much further along the trail, 2 more.
How unusual.
Yeah.
Finish lines down a.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I don't think we're going to get any more information by just staring at these. I think we
We've
keep.
got
Keep
some wire.
moving in, yeah.
I think we keep following the trail.
Have we seen any undamaged Winter Festival trees?
No.
I think we need to be very wary if we do.
And we
Oh.
should keep our eyes open for any more of these, any more of this wire that might still be there.
Yeah, whoever's walking in the front, be extra careful.
That's me, right? I
Okay.
guess I will be more.
So you're being extra careful?
Yeah, you're being very, very, very sweepy with the walking stick.
Have
Yeah.
courage,
Alright.
Brace.
Yeah, like people snares, like a rabbit snare.
Well, I mean, hold on though. Tripwires, people do come in here to trap, and when you trap animals, don't you set up lines with wires and snares, and then you can follow the line? You think
you'd
somebody?
set a trap line.
Yeah. So maybe this is somebody's disrupted trap line.
If it is a trap line, I think we'll find out more when we either find another one of these or find whoever's left them.
Well, I know that Sarnal, the trapper, was heading out into the Elkwood Forest, and he was supposed to bring me back some skins so I could make parchment. Of course, nobody goes into the Elkwood Forest, so how would you ever get that? But he hasn't come back in a couple days. I assumed he was just, enjoying the bounty of nature and drinking in an igloo somewhere. But maybe there is more to this mystery. Interesting.
Okay.
Let's find out.
So you've been out. It's mid-afternoon. It's going to start getting dark in a few hours. This is the point where if you don't want to spend the night in the forest, you should think about turning around. I don't know what your plans are. I'm just letting you know that we've reached that point.
I would assume that we brought enough supplies that we were planning to spend the 2 nights, 3
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
That was my understanding.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
yeah,
just
I
trying to
agree.
make sure you have all the
That
information.
was
No,
my
yeah,
understanding
appreciate
as
it.
well.
Yeah.
All right, so we should probably also think about trying to find some place to make camp.
We probably shouldn't camp directly in the path.
No.
But
We probably made it about as far as the last group. Maybe we started a couple of hours later because Stino was soaked.
There was a group sent out yesterday and a group sent out the night before. So no other group started today.
Right. No, but we
I see what you're
we
saying.
went far enough into the forest that probably anyone coming along the same route probably wouldn't have stopped too far ahead of us.
Got
Is
it.
there any indication of the other group?
So not yet, but you're going to travel for a bit longer and then you're going to look for a campsite type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there a snowfall last night?
There was a snowfall this morning.
Okay.
So if there was like fresh snowshoe tracks or something like that, they'd be all covered
We
up.
could just follow
They
yesterday's group.
they
yeah.
have to be fresh as of after the snowfall this
Yeah.
morning, because we're not seeing any right now.
Okay.
Right. So you're heading on a little further. This is a long shot, but give me another notice check.
May I use yours?
Yes, of course.
Are those minuses?
Those are.
that
Straight
sucks.
lines are minuses.
I was hoping they were secretly pluses.
Well,
I got a.
Fair for me.
I always forget the rankings. Good.
thank you.
Good.
Average.
Average.
Okay,
Fair.
thank you. Thank you for making those rolls. So you proceed along the path, and eventually it is starting to get dark, and you haven't seen really much of the other group yet, but you could press on.
It's starting to get dark. Let's set up camp.
It's better, yeah.
We've got 3 days to be here, and I don't want to be wandering around in the woods in the dark. with
Yeah,
some
well-
sort of tree arsonist.
Do we want to
Yeah.
step pretty far off of the path?
I'd say just a little bit off the path is fine. Again, we have business here. We are allowed to be here.
I'll use my survival skill to try and find a good spot for camp, like either a sheltered thing or a clearing thing to make camp.
Okay.
So let's see if I can find us a good spot. Survey says
Whoa.
I get a superb roll to find a good place to camp.
All right. So I think maybe you have actually shimmied up a snow-covered tree,
Ooh.
and you're looking around, and you see, okay, so it's maybe 45 minutes to an hour ahead, but looks like there's a little hill. You'd have some actual shelter there. If it snows or rains, you could push ahead.
Yeah.
And with a result like that, you can also find a kind of okay place where if it rains, you're going to get rained on, but it's better than nothing at all. You'd have like one side shelter.
I will.
That would be nearby.
Yeah. We should go to the better spot.
All right, to the better spot.
To the better spot.
I'm not particularly articulate in this. Just like, there's a better spot.
You are the leader.
Yeah. And I'm in charge.
Listen to the leader.
Yep.
Bleh. I'm trying to make you more comfortable.
Thank you. Pick up the carton. Start heaving through the snow.
Wow.
I didn't know you spoke sheep.
What did she say?
Hello.
Oh. Nice. Nice.
I didn't know I was bilingual.
All right. Well, I help set up. What did we bring? Tents?
All right.
I assume a couple of canvas tents.
Okay.
So you get toward there, and there you do find it looks like someone else has stayed here recently.
Oh.
Makes sense. Good camping spot. Other people with survival skills would go here.
How can I investigate
Ooh.
the area?
You may investigate the area.
Excellent. I will do that. I do a very bad job at investigating the area, and I get an average.
All right. So yes, indeed, people have stayed here quite recently. You see where they had the fire. It was in a fairly good place. I think within average, you just confirmed that this happened like probably last night.
Well,
I don't think you get anything else.
no.
I'll light a fire where that fire was.
Sure.
Might as well get a fire going.
So it's wet. There's a light snowfall starting. There are lots of very wet bits of wood around.
Let's see how I do.
Let's.
Average.
So you do not get a fire started.
Bryce, would you mind going out and maybe seeing if you can find some drier wood for us?
Yes.
Okay, just a little kindling should be
His
enough.
name
I
is
think-
Shilgan.
Right.
You're
My
Bryce.
brain is Bryce.
Are you asking? He's talking to you in the third person.
It's okay. I go get lost in the woods with my poor roll.
Okay. So what are you doing meanwhile?
I would actually like to place one of my 4.25 by 5.5 inch pieces of parchment under the wet logs currently in the thing, and I'm going to strike up a fire.
That will work.
Is that why you got that paper?
Yeah, it's one of my special kindling pieces. I wasn't sure if it could get to working, but assuming he doesn't go too far, he can be back, and we'll have a really good fire for the night.
No, that's super smart. I thought you were going to be doing some writing or something like that.
No, just need some. I knew we need some fires here, and well,
Definitely.
I guess I start getting snow to make water so that we can
I'm a half decent cook.
yeah, there's not really an oven here, so maybe I'll leave the food situation to you, but I can put together some dough on a stick that we can fry up.
So you've gotten lost.
I was like, I don't want to split up the party, but I'm gone for a comically long amount of time.
Right. May I have a notice check from you, please?
Woo!
Oh, legendary.
So, someone has a cooking fire right by the base of that hill that looks familiar. You can kind of see the light in the distance.
Amazing. I'm hungry and cold. I'll go towards that fire.
Okay.
I'm very glad I didn't kill you.
I had another plan if it went badly.
What do I find?
Us.
Whoa!
Hey, buddy, did you find any wood?
No.
That's okay. We managed to get it
There's
going here.
snow
anyway.
everywhere.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna fry us up some charbroiled sheep. Lamb.
Or I seem
lamb.
like there's like
If I may suggest, why don't you take a couple of those sausages and we can wrap the dough around them and cook them up that way?
Ooh, like a stuffed sausage in a bun.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure if hot dogs are a thing in this world.
Hot
Hot
dogs.
dogs.
I mean, boy.
This is so much better than the grass I eat with the sheep.
Do you eat the grass that you hang like the really?
I have to be one with the flock.
I hand you a mug of trail tea.
You're supposed to smoke the grass. Eat the sheep.
The sheep upcycle the grass into food.
All right, I'm gonna cook us up some sausages. Uh-oh. I'm gonna say these are some poorly cooked sausage.
Maybe they're burned.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do better next time you cook.
Hey, I'll be honest, never cooked sausages over a fire like this before. I usually have got
With snow flurries.
with snow flurries. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
fair.
enjoy your overcooked meat.
That's okay. It's wrapped in slightly charred bun.
Yeah.
In my family, there's so many children, we don't get meat. This is a rare pleasure.
You have all these sheep. Why don't you just eat a sheep?
We don't own the sheep. We just care for the sheep.
I mean, we don't own the wood, but we care about the wood, and we're still burning it.
If I take good enough care of the sheep, maybe someday I'll get the care for a goat.
It's
sheep.
good to have goals. I'm proud of you, Shilgan.
That's why I'm in charge.
If you're ever interested in learning how to read, just talk to me. I can teach you how to read the filthiest stuff.
I've never dreamt so big.
We'll talk after this is over.
Oh,
So, you have your idle chit chat, and then there are some tents and blankets, and you can wrap up warmly. So you all head to sleep.
Should we maybe post a watch, considering like 2 groups of people have gone in ahead of us
that seems-
and then not come back, and we're camping in the exact same spot as other people?
Yeah, that seems.
Well, we're also going to want to keep the fire going
Yeah.
overnight, so.
I mean, I will even volunteer to take the first watch because I'm used to staying up late.
Blaze. Yeah, I guess Blaze would also be pretty used to staying up late. As
Oh,
well.
yeah.
I'll take a morning watch.
Okay. So I guess Stina and I could both stay watch together.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, watch buddies.
Okay, so you two have the first watch. All right, you know what? I'm just going to figure out what goes on, and then I'm going to ask you who's watching at what point.
Sure.
Right? And you guys have this figured out? I can do that?
yes.
Oh.
That O makes me nervous.
Well, it's an average roll.
Yeah. So, at around 2 in the morning, who's doing what?
Imagine you two have gone to bed at that point.
2 in the morning. I mean, that's probably near the shift change-ish, I would say. So
Okay.
who has?
Were you taking the earlier shift or
I was hoping to wake up early and make breakfast.
with dawn? That's probably where I am then.
Well, if it's dawn,
it's
there's a midnight point.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
probably me. If you guys are the morning, they're the before bed. I wake up in the middle of the night.
All right.
It's me.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Maybe
So-
you're used to doing that with sheep.
Shilden,
Hi.
hi. What do you notice?
Sheep like it when you watch them sleep.
I have a fantastic notice check.
Okay. So
I'm very attentive.
once or twice you hear a very strange sound that you've never heard before. Imagine a mosquito sound, like when it flies around your face, but it has the base turned way up. And it kind of has a thrumming going with it. And then that sound goes away. And then maybe
Does it
15
like fly into our area?
Nope. Nope. But you were so good you heard it when it was still far away.
Okay.
And then that happens again, and you're kind of like, what is that? And where is it? And then it's gone again. And then you think you might hear several of those. And they're not getting closer, but this lasts longer.
Are they surrounding us? Or they're just present? Which direction?
That way.
Like towards the city or away from the city?
And kind of perpendicular.
Ah.
City's a very generous word.
Home.
Yeah.
It's in that direction. If they're not attacking us, then it's probably a friend of the forest and it's fine.
Probably.
But if it gets closer, I'll wake them up. But they're
Awesome.
sleeping. If I don't think it's dangerous, then it can wait till the morning.
All right. Well, after 10 or 15 minutes, the sound goes away,
Okay.
All on its own.
all on its own.
All right.
It's the way of the sheep.
And you said that was a fantastic
Correct.
notice? All right. So with a fantastic, you think maybe like half an hour later you hear something moving in the forest, but when you look for it, you don't see anything, and that's the only indication you get. This is not that thrumming sound. This is something moving through the brush very quietly,
Okay.
not very close.
I have my sling out.
Okay, great.
I'll let them know when the shift change happens. but
Awesome.
I don't need to wake them.
Okay, well, nothing else happens on your shift.
Fantastic.
Good morning, boys.
Yeah.
Dawn.
I'll make soup.
Sounds
So
good.
there were nothing dangerous last night, but there was a noise.
What kind of noise?
You're
You were
sleeping.
asleep.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can do anything with the bread.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a really low mosquito?
I sleep on a bed. I know that's not like the rocks that you are used to, but
Don't be mean to him.
I mean it's higher up. Maybe
Okay.
he means
If that's normal, then it's probably just forest noises.
probably.
Look that way, just in case. I'm going to go to bed now.
It's dark.
All right, I go to bed.
All right, well done.
I passed on the information.
Yes, you did.
That's a
What a
weird
good
thing
leader
to
you
say.
are.
Yeah, that.
Y'all ever heard of these low mosquitoes?
I mean, it's
No, forest thing.
It's to be quite honest, it's weird to hear insects
In the middle of
Winter.
winter. Yeah.
Yes.
Very.
Didn't think of that.
Yeah. Forest noises.
What'd you hear? Forest sounds? Okay.
Fucking A.
Shilkin didn't think of something.
Somebody threw out some Enya.
All right,
All right, I make some kind of like salt pork soup,
lovely.
Ooh.
rehydrated.
I don't have anything else for you until
Okay.
everyone else wakes up.
I make some delicious salt pork buns. Fine, if we have salt pork, I didn't know we could make that.
Sure. I mean, you have to like. Apparently, you have to soak all the salt out of it. Otherwise, it's like face implodingly briny.
Depends how salty you like them. Actually, that works out well if you can get some of that into the soup too.
All right.
All right,
So
well,
in the morning, are you doing anything that I want to know about?
Not that I don't think I have the materials to do anything you need to know about.
All right.
Yep.
And everything's fine with your strawberry thing?
Seems there. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so at some point, it's time for you to wake everyone else up.
Yeah.
Prod.
yeah.
Clang together 2 empty cups.
Ah!
What?
Ah!
Breakfast.
Okay.
Oh, I've been cold for hours. Now I have to go and be more
was-
cold.
I was oddly
of-
warm.
Cup of tea.
The flock huddles together for warmth.
She'll give us like a blanket. What'd you make for breakfast?
Soup.
Oh, I've never had soup for breakfast before.
I've never had soup.
Have you only eaten grass your whole life?
Apparently, with 7 children, that's what happens.
Lot of porridge.
That's like soup.
Nothing but a humble peasant.
Well, if you like porridge, you'll love soup.
Ooh, I love
Like-
porridge.
I assume like
Tomato, potato.
we have like dried meat, cured meat, root vegetables. Probably like what was the stuff that was in the who's the Python? Who's the historian? He did the History Channel like show on
Oh,
peasants.
Palin.
Palin. No, it wasn't Palin. It was
Around the world in 18.
No.
the guy who always.
That was Palin.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the things that he said that people ate was just like this rehydrated mash of stuff.
Like barley and stuff.
Yeah, barley, and then you would have a bottle of small beer, and that was kind of like a peasant's lunch.
I also feel like with the writ, you got a bunch of things that you might not otherwise get. Like, I think this is more meat than you guys have
Yeah.
ever eaten in a 24-hour
Correct.
period.
Yeah.
That's why we've got the raisins.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Well, I eat the soup and it's delicious. Good job. Better
All
than
right.
better than my like overcooked weenies.
So now that there's light, you can try to figure out where this group went yesterday.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard because
Yeah.
there has been snow.
Other question.
Yes.
The trail,
Yes?
the noise.
Yes.
Same or different?
Different.
Interesting.
Yeah, where did you
Interesting.
say the noise came from?
It's like if we're here and we're facing this direction, because home is this way,
Right.
the noise was in this direction.
Did it travel at all? Did it sound like it was going from one place to another?
Not in any way that seemed threatening.
Okay.
What about in a way that seems interesting?
Or directional.
That way.
Let's go that way.
Should we follow the noise?
We have 2 more days. We have to make it back. We have to be out of the forest by dusk on the 3rd day.
Or
that
else
correct?
you're no longer permitted to be in the forest.
Yeah.
Well, I
And
certainly wouldn't want to
alternately-
do that.
Alternately, that's when we're allowed to go home.
Yeah. We've done our job.
Would
Yeah.
it be survival or investigate to figure out which way the previous group went?
That would be survival.
All right.
Although, honestly, you could use either skill and I'd give you some.
All right. Let's see if I can figure out where they went. I have a good.
All
in
right.
Determining the direction the other group went.
So, you have talked about moving in 2 different directions this morning. You talked about following the trail, and you've talked about going toward where the noise was. They seem to have split the difference.
Like walk diagonal of it.
Wait,
So they left the trail at this point.
Ooh.
Do we know who was in the previous group?
Ah.
No, you did not ask that.
We should have done that.
Probably. I might have known him.
Yeah, and
you
if they
know
were in any way
that-
competent.
Finnabar, the general store employee, was one of them.
yeah.
And all we know
Well,
about
Finnabar's
Finnabar
a-
is that he's worthless, according to his
Finnabar's a
employer.
dad.
My brother Gub was in the last group.
Your brother Gub.
Yeah.
Not
no.
Gub.
Finnabar's a dad?
Finnabar's a dad. Yeah.
Like a real dad or a video game? Like just good guy dad?
Well,
Sorry, what? Like,
Everyone can be dads these days is all I'm saying. Is he an
Yeah, the
actual
kids call
no,
everyone
he's
a buff.
got a son.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I don't know if Gub was in the group, but Gub also went missing yesterday.
Oh. But you don't know if your brother got called up for his days of service?
I was tending the sheep. And
Always with the sheep with this guy.
Sometimes sandblads just go missing. It's perfectly normal.
That's
The
horrifying.
casualty rate's 100% on the sandblades.
They come back
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
most of the time. There's a lot of sandblades.
You're telling me a steady diet of grass doesn't like keep you nice and like ready to set out in the day?
Sandblades are very hardy.
Clearly.
All right, hold on. So we've got mysterious noises one way, a group of people that have since disappeared and not sent word to anybody that they have gone missing, and a nice cleared path. Why don't we keep
Yes.
following this cleared path?
I like the path personally.
Yeah,
And
like
not-
we don't even know where the path goes or why there's path.
There should
Yeah.
not be a path.
There
Yeah.
should not be a path.
Let's follow path.
We don't have to do any like trail clearing ourselves.
All we were told was to report on what we found during our 3 days here.
We don't even have to solve this mystery.
No, we
To
just
be very clear, we just need to do our job. Right? I assume.
Absolutely.
mystery?
Yeah.
We follow the path.
Okay. The leader has spoken. So,
Ah.
it's getting toward noon, and off in the distance you can see that the path opens up into what looks like a more natural clearing.
Oh,
Interesting.
and this is the end of the path.
I mean, it's possible there's a path that goes off the clearing, but if you're going to take the path and then you're going to have a clearing, maybe there's more path.
Okay.
You're too far away to see that.
Okay.
Like, in the distance, you see a clearing.
Hey, we're getting somewhere.
Let's approach the clearing.
Okay.
Have we noticed any more winter festival trees?
There have been no winter festival trees. You have seen several destroyed winter festival trees.
Okay.
Now, that has been getting a little bit more frequent, actually, because out at the outskirts, I mean, people cut down winter festival trees every year. It's kind of wasteful, but people do it. But the further you get into the forest, the more there have been, and they've been wrecked.
Wow. And like, is it like they're wrecked, like just the ones closest to the path, or if we like poke in and walk like, 25, 30 feet into the woods,
Then
they're
you
still
can find
wrecked?
some healthy
Okay.
winter festival trees.
Okay, but you gotta look for it.
Yeah, and you got to it's really inconvenient.
Somebody spent a lot of time out here on a vendetta.
Yes.
Are they recent? Like, is the wood still green, or are they all like old and?
Ooh, how much snow? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fires at the outskirts of the forest are older than the broken trees you're finding now, but this still happened, like I don't know how much you can tell in terms of detail, but not still green.
Okay. When do people start going to get their winter festival trees?
In
Traditionally.
the past week or so.
Okay, yeah, like if you're really like, if you love winter festival, maybe you've been doing it for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, dead trees. If you
Bring
want it
them
to last
inside,
until the
yeah.
solstice, you know, there's only so early you can get them.
Right. Okay. Right. Yes. Good point. Okay.
I just keep going on to the clearing, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should approach.
So as you approach the clearing, you see there are a whole bunch of healthy winter festival style trees in there.
Oh, there they
standing.
are.
Natural, or they've been cut down and they've been propped up?
Natural. Looks like they're just growing there.
Ooh.
Oh. I guess they stop. I'm going to investigate. What do I see?
All right. So you stride into the
No.
clearing to investigate.
No. I
remember
go on the
Sauter
path
said we
and
should
I
be
like
careful.
look around and I'm like, this seems unusual.
Yes. All right.
So what can I glean before actually like getting in there and getting my feet wet, as it were?
So
Your feet are already very wet.
you can't investigate from out here. You
Okay.
can notice.
All right, I will try to notice something. I'll see if I notice anything strange about this already strange clearing filled with unmolested trees. Ooh, and notice I get superb on that.
Ooh, very nice.
Oh, well, if you superb, you hear the low mosquitoes. Except they're not low. They're flying around someplace, but they have kind of a thrumming sound. And it's coming from ahead but off to one side, not like from the center of the clearing.
Oh, so I like. Wait, is that low mosquito noise you were talking about last night?
Yes.
Huh.
Fairly apt to describe it as a low mosquito. Sorry, apt is not the right word. See? Low mosquito.
The trees are across the clearing from us?
Yes.
Would I be able to orbit around the edge of the clearing to where the trees are instead of marching directly across open ground towards them?
Yes.
Could I do so stealthily?
I know how to find out.
+2. That is
You're a very fair rogue.
fair.
Okay. So,
Ow! Ow! Snap! Ow! Are these blackberries?
so I feel like with a fair, you know you're not doing very well.
Yeah.
So you can stop, or you can press on and just know that you're
I
making some sound.
would like to move away from the group,
Okay.
because if I've heard this low mosquito noise, maybe us all being clustered together in one mosquito food is bad.
All right.
If I may, then, I'd actually like to notice what you're doing, and take the wrong signal to start circling around the other side of the clearing.
So how's your stealth?
Much better.
Is it?
Hold on. Fair.
Okay.
Ah, much better.
Crunch! Snap!
Are these blackberries?
Hey, blackberries!
Squirrels! I look over at Sodor and say, "We're doing good."
So you two, just to make sure I understand, everyone was here, clearing was here. You two have started circling around opposite sides of the clearing. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
The three of us in the cart are just in like at the edge of the forest in this clearing, just kind
Like
of.
watching you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm very curious about what this is, but also personally afraid. And of a
Sometimes-
delicate constitution.
Sometimes a good shepherd just watches the flock.
That's super deep, my dude.
Oh, that was good. Damn. Damn, Shilgan. Shilgan.
All right.
Some knowledge.
So, you three
Bless you.
can hear what is about to happen.
Where did it go?
Oh no. Okay.
I'll let you get on with that.
It's stuck in there now.
Poor Cam.
It's one of the things where you go to sneeze and then it doesn't come out, and then suddenly just like,
Gross.
it's like a bulge emerges.
Well, while Cam's brain liquefies.
Right. I'll deal over here. So you get to finally see one of these things that have been making these noises. And they are maybe this big, but their wingspan is huge. And they do remind you of mosquitoes in that they have kind of this long-ish snout coming out. And I mean, you knew the sound was there. You knew this was nearby. So why don't you give me an athletics check to not have this thing get its proboscis into your flesh?
Great. That is an average roll.
Thank you. Let's see how I do.
Ooh.
I was fair. So I have made contact.
Okay. Actually, just before that.
Yes, I'm pausing because you
thank
can.
I'll take priority. Can I pay a fate point to, in desperation, activate my flaming fists?
Yes.
His what now?
So, what do people hear?
Oh Jesus! Get it. Well, sorry. The non-denominational, legally distinct Jesus. Get it away from me.
Okay. And then you're going to do a desperation move.
Yeah.
All right, so I would like a fist roll for your flaming fist.
Okay. Well, that's.
What is a flaming fist? I'm so curious.
We're about to find out. Oh, good.
Whoa.
That's a great roll.
With a great roll, it's going to work the way you want it to work.
Ooh. Whew. Well, I. Is how it should work and how I want it to work. How I want it to work is I'll flail at the mosquito with an open back palm, striking it directly and knocking it to the ground.
Okay.
At which point I will let you decide what that does to it.
Sure, and that's how you want it to work. What did you think it should work? Did you have something else in mind?
Actually, I figured that was the same sort
Okay.
of thing. Was that at most I would just activate the fire and scare it off. But I think great's enough for me to actually contact it, but not necessarily in the way I was with a proper punch, but more of a.
Is your fist on fire? Is the question I have, really.
You cannot see his fist.
Damn it! I need to know if he's a magic fist man.
So, I think what everyone else sees is this bug thing on fire, crashing out of the side of the clearing into the clearing itself.
Yep.
Then what happens?
Well, first, I have to deal with Mr. Not Sneeze.
Uh-huh.
So, happily, the bug things were on the other side of the clearing.
Very happy.
So, you do not encounter any of these bug things.
Awesome.
Ian chose poorly.
Or
For example, bug things do not have enormous ornate axes.
Uh-oh.
Okay, that's good.
Yes,
That's a very good thing.
yes,
I'm glad they don't.
right. So Ian did not encounter the angry-looking short person with a very large ornate axe.
Are these the... I've always wanted to meet a
Durham?
Durham.
So, could be kind of a hirsute short person with an enormous axe.
Mm-hmm.
And he was not expecting to see anyone coming around this side, but then you made a whole lot of noise, so you did not surprise him.
Okay, that's good. I wouldn't want to startle someone with an axe. Could lead to a misunderstanding.
So he is going to swing that at you.
But why?
I think that's a great response.
But why?
Uh-oh.
Cameron.
I think it's possible we're going to be going over how damage works. Do you have some sort of combat skill that that you'll be rolling here, or are you just going to be rolling on whatever mediocre?
Well, I do have this ability called Strength from Determination.
And
Where
what does that let you do?
It lets me use will instead of physique in physical contests. So I would...
So you want to use...
In fact, you know, if I stumble across this guy
Right.
and I want to use a physical contest, that would be like a grapple, right?
It would be.
I'm not getting away from this man, am I?
Well,
I mean, I could try to outrun him. Which...
Your legs are certainly much longer than his.
Yeah. Perhaps I should do that then.
All right. So first of all, we have to find out what happens when I swing my axe at you.
Okay.
So I need you to make some sort of combat-ish roll. I just don't remember what you have.
I have fists.
Fists will work.
Okay. Hopefully not against an axe.
Punch
Well,
the axe.
you're not
Punch-
punching the axe blade.
But-
But you've got enough.
Yeah,
like,
I've got some kind of wherewithal in physical combat.
right.
+3, which is a good result.
Okay. Well, I'm currently at +9.
So I die.
That's above legendary.
It is. So I guess I'm only at legendary. But
Man,
if
your
you,
kids are going to tell stories about what happened to me.
if you have some fate points and some reasons to spend them, you may.
Well, I am scrawny but wiry.
Ah.
Yeah.
Does sound like, you could invoke that.
Yeah, because I'm not a pushover. How would this even work? People generally, I'm going to assume that my comically inept attempt at stealth has lured the Durham into a false sense of security, and he went for like something fancy. Just saw me and was like, "This is going to be awesome."
So he gives it a spin, and
Yeah.
then
My
just-
kids are going to talk about this.
Yeah. And you know what? He delivers on somebody who was in fact much less competent than I was.
all right. So you're up
but-
to 5.
Yes.
Okay.
How about 3? Or no, 7.
Okay.
I would like to burn 2 fate points.
What's your second fate point? Which aspect?
Actually, I have none. So let's go up to 5.
All right.
Okay.
So
You could create another one.
I could, but I honestly don't think there's any justification for it in my case.
all right. I mean,
I
3 points is not bad.
yeah, 3 points is not bad.
So,
How damage works.
well, we're going to explain it.
Okay.
So you each have some physical stress boxes,
Yes.
and the leftmost physical stress box is worth 1 point,
Okay.
and the one next to it is worth 2 points. Some of you might even have a third physical stress box. It's worth 3.
Nice.
In some crazy situation, if you're just some big brute, you might theoretically have a 4th physical stress box. It is taking 4 points whenever you check that off. It'll absorb 4 points. So we're in a situation now where Soter needs to absorb 3 points. He can do that by checking off his 3-point box or by checking off both his 1 and his 2-point box. He could check off his 4-point box, it would be gone, but it would absorb all 3 points. He can also take a consequence. There are different kinds of consequences, 2-point, 4-point, 6-point. A minor consequence, which will absorb 2 points of stress, is something that will go away relatively quickly.
Right, yeah.
Like maybe that's a funny bone, or you've hurt your ankle, but once you walk it off, it'll be okay. But it'll be with you for the rest of the fight. 4-point consequence is going to last longer. It's like a broken arm.
Or student loan.
So
6-point consequence.
sorry.
right. So I could check off my 1-point physical stress box and take a 2-point consequence.
You could.
Okay. Why don't I say that I have, not quite deftly, but in a completely accidental way, managed to avoid what should be a lethal swing of this axe by tripping backwards over a blackberry bush.
Ooh, black
Badly jarring my, like just falling right back onto my tailbone, winding myself. And would that be a like the loss of stamina and like disorientation? Would that reflect a 2-point consequence for being largely out of the fight?
So a 2-point consequence is going to be something that you address after this scene and persists for 1 full scene after that.
Oh,
Okay.
like picking blackberry stickers out of you.
So that yes, you've fallen backward over. We need to name the consequence because I can invoke it if I want to. But I think it's like you've got blackberry bramblebud or something like that.
Right.
Pin-cushioned.
Like I can even imagine this as being a thing where I'm just like
Yeah.
for
and
like an entire scene.
so after this scene, you can pick out all of the brambles, and then for the scene after that, you're still going to be sore and bleeding a little.
Okay.
So you've got that 2-point consequence,
Okay.
and you have 1 point of physical stress checked off.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point, the bug thing is burning and gone.
Hooray!
There are more that are attracted to the sounds and sort of the smell of it sizzling.
Oh no!
You said you just wanted to run. because my bad guys have gone. I feel like we're getting toward the end. I'm just trying to see where we're ending up. You three also see some people coming through what is not directly ahead, but there's kind of sort of a trail, not as clear, but they are some of the missing people, but they each have one of these bug things kind of latched onto their neck, resting on their shoulders.
No.
And they're kind of shambling toward you.
Oh, they're mind controlled by the bugs. Probably.
Do any of you know stuff about stuff?
I mean, I know lots of stuff.
What kind of stuff do you know about stuff?
Oh my gosh, I know so much stuff. I have read so many books. In fact, I believe I can I can use lore for anything if I want. And also, I do have a source that I can ask.
Well, you do have a source you can ask, but that source is probably back. Oh, you have that other source. Yes, that's true. So why don't you decide whether you're asking the source or making a lore roll?
I think I'm going to make a lore roll
Sure.
to try and figure out what the heck that is.
Yeah.
And if maybe the consequences become more dire, I will ask my source.
Okay.
I feel like it's not something I break out, casually.
That makes sense to me.
Okay, well, so that's because that's fair. Fair
Okay.
on lore.
Are you happy with that?
Not particularly.
I mention this because the session's ending soon and you still have fate points unspent. So are you invoking an aspect?
Yeah, I'm
Because that'll
gonna.
just give you a +2.
Oh, that will make it great.
But you have to tell me which aspect you're
I'm
invoking.
definitely gonna invoke. I hate not knowing.
Okay.
Oh.
God damn it! I'm gonna be like, what the hell is that?
So, you remember the wall that's keeping out the tar folk?
Yes.
It's called the Gar Wall
Yes.
because until it was abandoned about 700 years ago, it was used to defend against the Igar infestations. And the Igar were kind of these impish bugs or insectish imps that grew in hives and did kind of what you're seeing now. But no one's seen an Igar in about 700 years.
I mean, luckily, I just recopied a disintegrating scroll that was about 700 years old. And it definitely had a drawing of an Igar, and it didn't...
Like that?
Yeah, it wasn't like clamped around someone's neck. It was in like an illuminated letter L that said, "Look out if you see one of these." That was what the L was there for. And then the Igar was in the L. You know, some monk got fancy. But yeah, holy crap, that's an Igar!
All right, so the Darim turns to the shambling humans and says, "Capture them! My slaves, take them back to the hive!"
Oh God, the Darm's a bad guy.
And I think that's probably where we'll end this.
Cool.
Whoa.
Thank you for watching, Dice Friends. This has been part 1 of the 2-part Winter Peasantries. Please join us in a week for part 2, and then come back on January 7th when Kathleen will be starting to run By Law and Order, the D&D 5 Ravnica game.